Hello and welcome. I'm Patrick Curtis, Chief Monkey of Wall Street Oasis, and this is Monkey to Millions, a show where you get a front row seat as I mentor young students and professionals to try and help them break into their dream jobs. In the first cohort, you'll meet 4 students, all preparing for intense job interviews while trying to also balance a personal life and schoolwork. The goal of this show is to shine a light on the struggles of trying to break into competitive positions with a non traditional background and to give you a roadmap for your own success. My hope is that as you get to know these 4 impressive students, you are inspired to dream big. Remember, these are real people and this is their true story. Let's get to it. In this session, we learned that John's aggressive volume networking based on our last call is really starting to pay some dividends. He has a final round interview upcoming this Friday with the Big Four and several second round interviews coming up. Even though the networking is working, I encourage him to keep the volume high since there's a lot of uncertainty in the volatile stock market and with coronavirus. So it may be even harder in this environment for firms to hire. We just hope we're not about to head into a recession. Fingers crossed. Enjoy this. All right, John, session number 7?
Yeah, I think so. It's going now.
That's got to be it's a long time since we started. Tell me what's going on. You have some news today. Hopefully good. We'll see if it's bad. We'll keep cruising. But tell me, you had interviews today, right?
Yeah, I had one earlier this morning. It was a phone interview. It was kind of like a second round, I'd say, because how I got into this interview process was through networking. From last conversation, I hopped on Sales Navigator, and I started networking with all UC alum, not just UCI. And actually, the alum that I hit up that got me into this interview process was a UCSD alum with a healthcare lower middle market investment bank. They have offices in Boston and LA, and we had a good conversation. Hit it off the bat really well, and she put me in touch with an associate. And I felt that one felt more like an interview. The associate grilled me about my past experiences.
That was today or before?
That was last week.
Okay. So that was almost like you passed the phone screen.
Yeah.
That was maybe a second phone screen / first interview with the associate.
Yeah.
And that was more like technicals and stuff?
It wasn't really technical. It was more so asking about my background. He really grilled me about my work experience, especially over my fall internship at B. Riley and what I was doing. And then he went into it a little deeper to see if I was BSing it or if I actually knew what I was talking about. And he asked me about one of the deals I was working on, specifically one of the sims that I was tasked to work on. And he basically asked about the business and how the revenue model worked and all that good stuff. So I cleared that. Yeah, that was cake.
Because you were ready. You knew everything on your resume cold, like I told you.
Yeah.
That. Okay.
No, I was ready for that.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
I can talk about that. And
so
then today,
he clearly passed you on.
Yeah, he clearly passed me on. And then today I had a phone interview with a senior associate at their Boston location. And that one went pretty well. Wasn't as technical as I thought it'd be. That was kind of the same as the first one. It was kind of asking about my background. He went into my interest in the space, healthcare, and I kind of gave him a few points of what interests me about it, and I kind of didn't try to BS that. I was pretty blunt and straightforward with it, and then I took your advice.
Would you say you're just look, I'm not I'm trying to get a job here kind of thing?
I mean, like I said, from my past experiences, pretty generalist. I had a little bit of healthcare experience in the nutraceutical space at Harvey and Company. I thought that was really interesting. A lot of the clients were, really well versed in the space, like PhDs and MDs, and I thought that's super interesting to work with them. Also, healthcare is very non-cyclical, and it's very straight to the point, in terms of the healthcare services, which is a huge front on their end. And I told them that is something that interests me, and I'm willing to learn a lot more about. And I heard they have a really good program when you first hop on as an analyst. The first 2 weeks, they don't just teach you about technical skills and modeling. They really grill you and give you a fire hose about industry stuff, not just investment.
Did you regurgitate that to him? I hope you told him that interested you.
Yeah. I told him, pretty much all of that and more. And then about my experience. He told me what I was looking to get out of an analyst program. Pretty,
You said jump to
pretty.
private equity right away, right? No, just kidding. I hope you didn't say like I'm gonna
Telling
jump to
me, he was telling
PE.
me, no, no. He was telling me that they really try to shoot for career like bankers. Like a lot of the analysts they bring on, they want them to become career bankers. They don't want them to just hop on to like private equity after 2 years. So he's telling me like a lot of the associates, the senior associates, he actually were analysts and interns with them.
Wow,
So yeah, they do a really good job of retaining their analysts, which is pretty cool.
nice. Sounds like it went well. Sounds like it was a
Yeah.
good conversation. Any parts that you felt like didn't go so well? Just like anything.
Um,
Like, what about
um,
next steps? Did he say anything at the end? Like next steps?
yeah, he said he's gonna get in contact with the LA office and see what they want to do. They're either gonna, hop on another phone call with me, or they're just gonna bring me straight in. And then shortly after that, they'll let me know. So, hopefully all goes well.
I'm down in OC, um, April-ish, like a month.
Okay,
So
nice.
if it's we should meet either way, just for a beer or something. But if it's
Yeah.
if it's like before your interview, I could even do like a live mock and really just be I could be a total
Oh
ass.
man.
I could be an ass to you and just like try to grill you, try to just make your life hell for like 30
Yeah,
minutes. Uh,
that's something I was kind of worried about because
not
like
even on camera, not even on camera, just to get your like body language, because I don't,
mm,
it's one thing over Skype. It's another thing to see how you're holding yourself like in a room.
yeah, that makes sense.
You do lose a little bit over these calls, and not like if I could see how you're like when you're answering your questions, if you're like looking at me directly. Some people do weird stuff that you don't even realize you're doing it if you don't video record yourself.
Yeah, I believe it.
Maybe these this show has helped a little bit if you've watched yourself at all. I think
Yeah.
you're pretty natural, so I don't think you have anything like weird, any weird tics, or I would have told you already. But anyways, okay, so that all seems like it went well. What else is coming up? Anything? I think you had one more,
Um,
right?
yeah, I have one more interview. I have 3 phone calls tomorrow.
Networking or interviews?
One interview, two networking. Actually, one of the networking ones, I think they're looking for analysts, so that might turn into something. The other one, they've already told me that their analyst pool is filled,
Mhm.
but they're more than happy to hop on the phone with me, and hopefully I can develop a relationship for down the line. They're in the upper middle market, so I mean, wouldn't hurt to have that connection. And
Yeah.
they have offices in Chicago, LA, and in New York, I think.
Yeah, you said you kind of wanted to maybe even go to Chicago. Is that where your girlfriend's going after she graduates?
Um,
I'm trying to
no,
remember what you told me.
she
She said
doesn't know
she'd be
yet.
willing to go.
She doesn't know yet, but in terms of like Chicago, I think that's when I was just like talking about like a friend of mine who's been trying to push Chicago on me.
Hmm.
He's kind of like been a
Okay.
mentor to me as
Yeah.
well. And he was just telling me to look into like other markets other than like California and New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun.
So
It's a fun city. Chicago. I've only been there like once, but I loved it.
really,
Yeah, maybe it's because I
well,
was
what
there for
about it?
like I was there like Lollapalooza. It was
Oh,
just a big
really?
party
Okay.
when I
Yeah,
was
I
younger.
bet. I bet. I want to go to that. I want to go to that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was a lot of fun. I had like a
Yeah.
boot on my leg, but I didn't care. I had like a messed up foot, but I was still
Yeah.
like partying. It was fun.
I believe it. Well, I mean, all the parties or festivals are getting canceled right now. I was supposed
I
to.
know.
I'm set to go to Coachella, but they might cancel that. So who knows?
That's a good point. I didn't even think. When is that? When is Coachella?
Um, Middle and end of April. There's 2 weekends. I'll be going the
So
second one
how
in
about those
particular.
Lakers and those Celtics? We're having a little slide right now, but I think we've given the
Mm,
Lakers a little run for their money each time we played them, right?
I know, but I mean, I think we've been coming off strong. I mean, we just beat the Bucks and the Clippers this past weekend, so those are two huge
Not
dubs
bad.
in our book.
Not
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be, come playoffs. It's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be super fun. I'm excited to watch the playoffs.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Uh,
I think.
So, so yeah, the 3 calls I have tomorrow. One is with the upper middle market bank. I
Mhm.
think that guy's in Chicago.
Any
The
industry expertise? They're the one that did have the analyst class filled, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm not like too worried about that one. It's just like a
Yeah.
general phone call, getting to know each other. The interview tomorrow is with, I want to say, an associate at a bank here in LA. I already had a phone screen with an analyst
Mhm.
um, 2 weeks ago, and how I got in touch with him was I reached out through networking, after that phone call or after our last call. I really took it seriously and, sending
I
out
should
any
have
of my
done that
big.
back in November or something. It seems like you're too busy with your internship.
I know.
You were too busy, man. This is like,
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like it was good you got that internship, but it's almost like it came at the expense of like having these earlier.
Yeah. I'm super grateful for the internship. It was
Yeah.
a great experience. People there are great.
Yeah.
They've been giving me a lot of recommendations and whatnot. But, I feel like that's been a great point on my resume and I've used
Huge.
it. Yeah. Yeah. It's
No,
like
it's getting you looks for sure. It's just,
yeah.
I think you're close. You're really close
Yeah.
to getting something. We just gotta don't give up on the networking part just because you have a couple interviews.
And that's what I noticed, especially with the last run when I was interviewing or when I got to the super day with the bank in LA, a couple months ago or a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed usually when I start picking up a few, I start slowing down on my networking. And I noticed that, I mean, on top of school, but like also on top of like the past interviews I had this week, I've noticed that again. So I feel like, I really need to pick that up whether or not, I have
Yeah,
interviews coming up.
you can't assume because just a couple swings is nothing. You need to give yourself like 10 more
10.
swings. Yeah, 10 more first round interviews, which will lead
Yeah.
to like 4 more, ideally 4 or 5 more second rounds and like a bunch more super days.
Yeah. You're
But
right
that
about
that
that.
fourth or fifth super day is really where you're going to be like in your zone. You've
Hmm.
done it so
Hmm.
much and you're starting to really feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Which is why if it comes to April and I'm there, I'd love to just grill you with a live. We don't even have to record it for the show. I'll just,
Let's do it. Let's
we
do
do it
it.
over a beer and just I'm there for a full week. So
I'd be down. Where are you gonna be? You're gonna be in OC, you said?
Irvine,
Okay, you're right here. You're right here.
no
Okay,
excuse.
awesome. Yeah, we have to grab a beer then. We
No
have to grab a beer.
excuse. Yeah, my in-laws live in Irvine. Live in the
Okay.
west. The West Loop
The
or
West Loop, I'm not familiar with
it's like
that area.
West Yale Loop, I think is the name of the street. It's like this. It's a little community and it has like a little lake in the
Mhm.
middle and it's pretty chill.
Yeah, still
Um,
awesome. Whether or not I have like a super day coming up, we should still grab a beer.
yeah, exactly. Okay, good.
Okay.
But yeah, it'd be good.
Um,
Even if you don't have, and even if you don't, I can try to do like a little mini mock interview for you. I think
yeah.
we can chat and have fun and maybe watch a game or something. But I think it'd be good to do a live one would be great because then I could really
Mhm.
see a lot more about
Yeah.
everything. And I don't think we've done too many. We haven't like really drilled down on.
No, I mean you drilled me one time and I completely bombed it. And to be honest, like I was gonna mention this like a couple seconds ago, but I lost my train of thought.
Mhm.
It's like when I get in these modes of networking, I also forget to, pick up
Interview.
studying, interviewing tactics. I feel like my general behaviors and my simple technicals or, my like basic technicals, like
They're down.
yeah, you've seen me. I've got those down. But when it gets into like deeper, I really like, I'm gonna be honest, like I've rarely picked up the book and really like hammered down into it, whether that just be
Yeah.
I'm too focused on networking or too focused on school or too focused on, doing a bunch of other stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've really noticed that is like
It's
my
hard, man.
weakness right now.
It's hard because like you're in a beautiful area of the country. It's always beautiful outside. You gotta like lock yourself away. For like if you worked on like interview skills as hard as you're gonna
Yeah,
end up working once you're out of school, if you did like a
yeah,
couple 80-hour weeks, you'd be pretty good at interviewing very fast.
I believe it. I believe it
And that's the
100%.
thing, it's just hard to do because you're having fun. It's like your senior year. You wanna have
Hmm.
you don't wanna just like throw away these last few months as well. But like
Hmm.
you know, you don't want
This
to
is important.
you don't want to move in with the parents either, like
Yeah,
too long. So
this is super important. I know. It's super important to me, personally.
look, if you don't have a job when you graduate, it's not like the world ends. The world doesn't
Hmm.
end, but it starts getting harder and harder.
Hmm.
One of those things like now you still have the cover.
Yeah, I understand though. I totally understand that point. It definitely gets harder. I just feel like aside from like not, studying those like really deep technicals, I feel like I'm getting closer and closer every single
You
time
are.
I do talk to somebody and every single time I interview. Like I feel like I'm getting more comfortable and, from the last super day, that's like the farthest I've gone. And now I feel like I'm just going to be getting these a lot easier.
Do you feel like did you ever do I think I don't know I like can't even keep it straight who because I've with
It's okay.
Andrew did you ever do that sheet like that Google sheet that has the stories in it?
Yeah. 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 And I shared it with you.
Has that been helpful at all? Have you pulled off from that during your
Not
interview?
really. I'm gonna be completely honest. I haven't
Yeah.
really pulled
So
It's
when they
like,
ask you something, are they ever asking you like, tell me about a time when you struggled in a group setting?
no, I feel like
Really?
yeah, I haven't been asked any of those questions. Maybe in like a super day, I will be. Even at the super day in
But like when they
at
ask
the
you like, tell
boutique
me
in
about a
LA
time
a month
or tell
back,
me
they
why
didn't
we
ask
should.
me those questions. It was more like,
So I was gonna say, what if they ask you like why IB, or like tell me about why we should pick you and not some other kid? Comes from
mhm.
have they ever asked something like that, or what are your strengths? Like,
Yeah. I mean, they kind of like foreshadow that. It's like why IB. I've been asked that before.
mhm,
I've definitely pulled some stories out of it, especially like, my interest from it. It pretty much, I kind of like incorporate that into my story. Like when they first asked about myself
mhm,
and, how I got interested in investment banking, and
mhm.
I kind of rolled through that,
What
like
do you
the
say?
whole,
What do you say for that?
it's like the story is senior at UCI, coming in as an engineer just because like my parents pushed that on me, didn't really love it. Then I
Yeah.
studied math, and then that's when I found a good mix of like quant econ accounting. I had my first internship at Disney, blah blah blah. um, my friend brought me into the investment banking association, and I really loved the group of people there. Everybody's super driven, goal oriented, and they all had the same interest in kind. And that's what I really liked about it. And I've noticed that in my internships going forward. Then I talk about Harvey and what I did there and what I
When you
learned
say
from
they had the
there.
same interest in kind, what do you mean? Like they all had the same shared interest? Like
Yeah,
banking?
that's it. Wasn't like necessarily, I kind of like stumbled. It's usually I say like they're goal driven and
Yeah.
oriented.
Yeah.
And then I usually jump to just like Harvey and company. And then I
Yes.
talk
It's good.
about B.
Like,
Riley.
yeah, I think the more you can show and the less you can tell them, the better you're
Hmm.
gonna sound.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
it was really interesting. My friend pulled me over to there, and it kind of just opened my eyes to the whole world of finance. So I started, networking to try and find an internship where I could just get any sort of experience. I was lucky enough to get to land in at B. Riley, and I got to work on some deals, which really kind of just further solidified my interest in working in this field. So yeah, here I am, and that's
Okay.
like that can be it. And
Makes sense.
so I think. Yeah, I think that's good. I think my point is if they do start asking like weird questions in Super Day or whatever about group dynamics, about all this stuff, just be
Hmm.
ready with those stories,
Hmm.
because you don't want to be like, oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
You're right.
boom, for that silly reason, you didn't have a story ready. That's a decent match, because sometimes they're
Hmm.
weird. Sometimes it's like, tell me about a time you disagreed with a superior, and
Hmm.
you like, how did you overcome that conflict? And if like you don't have a story
Yeah.
ready for that, like you're gonna have to be digging.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, that's a good question. And then you just sit there for like a minute
Yeah.
thinking about it. Yeah, I totally understand. And I have a few stories written down on the doc.
Okay.
Um,
And I'll take a look if you want to link me in the G chat or whatever, or in the Skype chat,
okay.
to that. I'll take another look through it just to
I
see.
think I emailed it to you before, and I'll
Yeah.
look for that and then I'll link it to
Okay.
you.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I
'Cause
got
the
you.
other thing, the technicals are one thing, like walk me through the TCF, tell me about different valuation methodologies. Um, those you need to have down because they're very common.
Hmm.
But obviously the tell me about yourself and the YIB are the two most,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
being
No,
polished
definitely.
on those is really important. And then being genuine and coming across as genuine, which I think
Hmm.
if based on what you just told me, like about the healthcare thing, it sounds like you're getting better at.
Hmm.
That was my impression. Based on what you said to that answer, it sounds like you're getting more comfortable with it. And
Hmm.
you're like, you're not BSing anybody
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
much.
I try not to at all. Like I try to be like as upfront and honest about it too. Like I told him, like, he asked me, so what are like the experience you had at B. Riley and Harvey? Like, what industries were you tasked on? And I was
Right.
like, to be honest, like, in that scenario, I realized he was trying to see if I had any healthcare experience.
Right.
And to be honest, I literally laid out the three like
Yeah.
primary
You
deals
didn't
I worked at B.
oversell it.
Riley.
You didn't oversell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I told him, like, at Harvey and Company, I had some experience in nutraceuticals, not necessarily healthcare services, which you guys are specializing in. And then I named off a couple deals that they, you know, have worked on, specifically him too, because I looked into his profiles a lot.
Smart.
Um, and I kind of talked about that, and then I started asking about his experience and the type of deals he worked on, and I really like, I started like pressing him about one specific deal too, and like wanted to dig a little deeper into that because they
Yeah.
had like a webinar specific to that deal, and they also
Yeah.
have a podcast for the firm, and I just like started talking about things like I really liked about the firm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
So you felt
It was
like
like
you had conversation. More.
Yeah, it was super conversational. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, at first I tried to open up with like, "Oh, how's your weekend?" And he was just like, "Great. Okay, so
Yeah.
something changed." Yeah. I was like, I hate when that happens, but then later on he opened up.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. So yeah, do you have stuff ready for like, you know, why do you even want to be, you know, why do you want to work this many hours? Do you know how many hours we work?
hmm
Like,
Um,
how do you know you're ready for actually working 80 hours a week or 90 hours a week?
yeah, I feel like we talked about this. Like, I don't know if I don't think it was last call, but
Yeah.
the two calls ago. It's
Yeah.
like you told me to have a story for that one, and the story I have for that one is when I interned at Harvey and Company during my spring quarter, as well as I took up the internship at Power 106 just
Mm-hmm.
as a hobby of mine. And I basically tell them like, yeah, like I've seen the experience at, I've seen the hours at B Riley before, school started and I was working those hours there. But also before that, I was working 8 to 4 at Harvey and Company. And then I would drive 2 hours to Power 106 where I would work 6:30 to 1:30. Just out of interest. And like, I tell them like, that's just who I am. I'm always hardworking. I strive for the best, and so on and so
Perfect. I
forth.
love it. That's great.
Yeah,
That schedule's good. Like actually giving them the time frame to realize like, wait, he didn't really sleep.
yeah. No, I didn't really sleep.
That's that's what they want to know. Can you survive on sleep deprivation? Because that's a big requirement for the job.
Yeah, a couple of coffees and I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. So what about? So it sounds like you're getting more comfortable. It sounds like as you start getting more interviews, you slow down on it. So to get these 2 interviews, what was the rate you were putting out?
Jeez.
You were going crazy.
For these ones, yeah, I
I
was going
challenged you.
crazy. Like I still have a lot. I had a lot of phone calls like during that time period too, and then those two turned into interviews too. Like
Yeah.
I applied to another bank that's looking for an analyst in San Francisco, and had a
Mhm.
phone call with one of their associates in New York. They have 2 offices, and
Okay.
that phone call went extremely well. I think she was an alumni at UCI or UCSD. I think he was UCI,
Yeah.
and that went well. She said she was going to pass on my resume, and I've yet to hear back. I should probably follow up with her this
How long?
week.
That was like a week ago. 2
That
weeks ago.
was not last week, but the week before that. It
Oh
was like
yeah.
the end of last week.
Yeah. Definitely
Yeah,
follow up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I applied. They have an open position, and
Nice.
I thought we hit it off. She said they weren't looking for full time analysts in New York, but they are looking for one in San Francisco. So she said it's great that you applied, but we're gonna I'll pass along your resume. I just need to follow up with her.
Yeah. Definitely don't let too much time go between that and like, because she could have, knowing how busy they are, forget to forward it, and like do a great call and then it's for nothing. And then if you just
Yeah,
ping her, she'll be like, oh yeah, and then send it. It's like
yeah.
so many things drop through the cracks, and like you
hmm
have to guide them and make sure that you're not one of those people.
Makes
Um,
sense.
so yeah, so it sounds like, how many connections are you up to now? You going crazy? Is it mostly through LinkedIn?
Yeah, mostly through LinkedIn. And honestly, I've been getting a really great response. And I noticed that when I message people via Sales Navigator, it sends them an email as well to whatever. At least like I get an email about it, and it looks like they're responding to me via email. I don't know. It's
So,
kind of weird.
but you only have a certain number of in-mails, right?
Yeah, I only have a certain number of emails.
Isn't it only like 10?
I used all of them. I think it was like 20. And
Okay.
then every so often you get a couple. But yeah,
Yeah.
when I find something on Sales Navigator, I hop on like LinkedIn too, and I like find them and message them as well.
Yeah. I
Um,
think you're going to need a lot more than 20.
oh yeah, no, I used up all those. It was just like
Yeah.
weird that
No,
I
but
was
it's
like,
cool. Yeah, it is good. I think the connection requests though, like just keep going, man.
yeah, I will.
Like
It's just
I was
throwing some
talking to
music.
Andrew. It's harder for Andrew because he has an internship all lined up. He's a junior. He already has an
Yeah.
internship lined up. He had
hmm
his trip to New York is canceled because he's coming from Canada, where
Yeah.
he's gonna have all these networking. I'm like, just do the trip yourself, man.
Yeah.
Just because there's Corona. I mean, there's like 5 people with Corona. You know what I mean? So I was like,
hmm
just go yourself, and you have 2 months. I told him you have 2 months. He has a week in between. When he starts his internship and when he finishes his finals. Like
hmm
that week, if you're in New York meeting with 40 people, you have potentially for full time after you're done with your internship in Toronto, you have all these connections where you could potentially jump to New York.
That's awesome.
And
Was he
he's
supposed to? Sorry,
sorry,
go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, but same thing. He's like, it's tough to motivate for him because he's like, he already has a good internship lined up for junior year and it can lead to full time. So
Yeah, you never know. But
yeah,
I mean, it's good to keep, relationships open. You never want to like
totally,
burn
man.
bridges or even build new ones too.
I
It
told
always
him
helps.
I'm like, you can hit 100 people up in LinkedIn like every day. They won't block your account.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
let's do some math. So like, he's like, so yeah, if I reach out to, for like 20 meetings, I'm like, don't do the trip to New York unless you can at least meet with 20 people for like that whole week, or
Yeah.
ideally 30. And he's like, and I'm like, so how many people you have to reach out to get to 30 actual in-person meetings? I'm like, well,
1,000.
yeah, I'm like, you probably need like 300 connections and like 100 calls to get to
Way
20 or
more.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Way
like a
more.
couple thousand probably. So I told him, I'm
Yeah.
like, 20
Hmm.
minutes,
That's
30 minutes a day is enough though.
yeah. That's great for him though. Was he supposed to go with like a school group?
He was supposed to go with like the CF. He was hoping the CFA Society, this contest, that if he had won it, they won the
Yeah.
report side, but they didn't win the presentation. Would have
Okay.
paid for his trip, but it all got canceled anyways. It all got canceled. So,
Okay.
so then he was going to go with the like finance association of his school.
Hmm.
They do a trip to New York every year, and that got canceled. So now he's like, oh man, he has nothing. But he's
It
in a good
happens.
spot. He's in a good spot. Grace is like a freshman and she's like set. So
Yeah. That's
I'm
awesome
not
for
worried
her.
about her at all. She's also in New York. So
Good for her. Good
yeah.
for her. So proud.
So we got to get you. We got to get you. You're really close, man. I feel like
It'll happen.
next time we talk, I have a good feeling.
It happened. Yeah, me too. Hopefully they like speed up the process. Oh yeah. Also, he asked like where I am in recruiting process with other firms too, and
That's the other reason why flooding and not stopping with the networking is huge.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you saying
yeah,
I'm in 3 other processes is amazing. And if you can
yeah,
legitimately say that,
yeah. I said that. Well, I said well, I have a super day this Friday, and I have another phone interview tomorrow, and then I'm also talking to 2 other firms in Seattle and then 1 in New York because I'm still talking to those ones.
perfect.
And then he was like, yeah, like that's great. And then he started going on about, and then he asked me like, what's your preference in location? I was like, Los Angeles. And then he was like, that's great because we really need people. Like it helps that you're from the area.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that, like, made me feel better about,
You're going to get an offer from them.
I hope so. Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
You don't have to tell me who it is, but maybe offline you can tell me who it is or chat it to me. But
yeah,
I think that sounds like that phrase, being able to say, I'm in this process, this other process. I have a super date on Friday. I have this calls and I'm in talk with these. Do you realize what that does to your perceived value?
It shoots it up. Not like the market right now.
No, it like not like the stock market right now, which is like it lost 8% today.
Yeah.
But no, like no, it literally it like 10x is your profile. It's not like a 2x. It like 10x is your chances by being able to say you're in all these other processes. You got to be careful. A lot of people try to lie about that stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, what
No.
banks?" or whatever. Or
I'll say them. I have names. Like
you're ready.
So
So like other people have to try to do that, and they get caught like bullshitting.
Yeah.
But that's why doing it in a wave as well, like you going hard for like a couple weeks or 3 weeks, and then having all these first rounds and second rounds at the same time, it has a multiplier effect. It's actually more beneficial than what you'd expect.
That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't really see it till now. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So I have a feeling because you said that, you're definitely getting passed on. And then when they ask you again, and
say the same thing,
you're able to deliver that same answer to a partner or to an MD.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, get them an offer now.
Yes. So what I'm hoping is this Friday I think I sent you a message about like the super day I have for like one of the big 4. So it's weird. I applied a long time ago and I had a couple calls with the people at this firm and they just got back to me about like a super day.
It's a big 4?
Yeah. So it's a big 4 and it's financial services consulting.
Financial services.
It's like, so I can shoot it to you offline. It's like,
I'm writing it down. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. It's not transaction advisory.
No, it's not. So I actually I had like an networking call with an analyst there for one of their other locations, and he said, yeah, it's like consulting, but specifically for big banks and financial services institutions.
It sounds like FIG, dude.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
So I mean, I'm not like whether I get it or not. Like, if I get it, great. What I'm hoping is I can leverage this into
that's a super day this Friday.
Yeah.
Dude, that sucks.
Yeah. Why that sucks?
No, it
I don't
sucks
think.
because like you're kind of far along. What other bank? You should be telling. You should be assuming you're going to get that offer,
Mhm. Okay.
and so that you're
Got
not
it.
going to have more than like a week after that to accept or reject, probably.
And yeah. The thing is like, so the two banks I've been talking to Seattle,
Yeah,
uh,
you froze up for a sec, but yeah,
the
go ahead.
OO of the bank. Oh,
What was that?
I've been networking with like the COO of like one of the banks in Seattle, and because it was got networked with him or connected with him in the fall of last year,
Yep.
and he told me that his bank and another bank merged, so now they're working under one name now.
Okay.
And he was telling me they're going to kick off the recruiting process in February. Got with him then, had a quick phone call. He told me they're going to start later or early in March, and then got with him late last week. And I was like, hey, like, when are you guys going to start kicking it off? And he's like, oh, thanks for checking back in, blah, blah, blah. He's like, in terms of, because they're up in Washington. So he was like, everybody's been working remotely. So we're pushing it for another 2 weeks. So he was like, we scheduled a call for middle of March, which I assume will be my first phone interview. And hopefully that goes well. And then the other firm in Seattle just got back to me last week and says they're reevaluating their analyst pool, and they're going to get back to me at the end of April about whether they're going to fly me up for Super Day or not. Mind you, I already had 5 points of touch with this firm with 5 different people.
That's the thing with boutiques is like small. They don't know that their plans change every day based on the whim of a partner.
Yeah, they're not really a boutique either. They're middle market. They're middle
Okay.
market. They're well established too, I'd feel like, and
Mhm.
they have locations in New York.
It also depends. Like if they lose an analyst, boom, everything changes.
Yeah. So, and they have a good training program too. Like I've been
It
in
doesn't help
touch.
that the market's melting down too right now.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're
A lot of
reevaluating everything.
people, a lot of people are kind of like, in terms of hiring, a lot of people are freaking out. Like, is a recession coming? Do we want to do this? So it's not the best time to be looking for a job.
Weren't you in a similar situation when you graduated?
Yeah, 02, right after 9/11, right after 9/11.
Okay.
So it was bad. It was bad too. I got an offer for full time. It was like the last interview on campus in December. So you're past that, dude.
I'm way past that. Yeah.
You're past that, but you're getting looks. You're getting looks. I think you
Kind of
may start
closing.
you may start hearing a lot about that though. Like, so that's why just keep like networking, man. Don't assume anything's gonna come through.
Yeah.
Pretend like you have to get 3 offers to get one, like to get
Yeah.
one, and then like you're gonna get that one. I feel like you will, but yeah, I mean, if things keep melting down in the market and then we do go into recession, or coronavirus keeps spreading, it could definitely put a damper on the hiring market for the foreseeable future.
Okay, that makes sense. Maybe, I think it's kind of weird because like the senior associate I had an interview with today, he said that their deal flow is actually picking up. I don't know, maybe it's because of healthcare services or healthcare
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
And he says they're like upping the amount of analysts they're bringing on for the summer. Or maybe they're just growing as a bank. But yeah, no, it totally, like in terms of like the general market, yeah, I can definitely see it slowing down and people are definitely cutting on the numbers that they're bringing in. And that's also scary.
Energy just melted today.
Yeah.
XLE down like 20%. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's tempting to buy some, but oil is probably long term. Who knows what'll happen?
Everything is going down the drain right now.
Yeah. Things aren't as overvalued anymore, though. Things are like much more reasonable right now.
Do you have any cash you can definitely put in?
Not enough. I wish I had more. Lots invested. So I stayed invested through the financial crisis. I didn't panic. It was good.
It'll go back up. Yeah, that's me right now.
I feel better. I feel better about
But
this time around too, because it's not like some sort of systemic like economic issue. It's like a virus, that's should at most last through last through the summer. Yeah, I mean by the summer I think it should fizzle. So
I think it will fizzle in the summer. Like I was listening to a podcast that says like these viruses, like they were relating it back to the 1918 like influenza or virus back then.
And the
They said
H1N1. Yeah.
they said it fizzles in the summer, but then it may hit back harder in the fall just because the viruses don't like warm weather. So
Yeah. So
who
he's like,
knows? Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, hopefully Corona doesn't stop you from getting a job.
I hope not.
Yeah. But listen, I think I mean, you're mostly focusing on the job search and not your schoolwork, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. This week we have finals, but in terms of like the job search and like
How do you have finals? Is it trimester?
prepping for interviews, yeah, that's like every
You have
yeah, it's trimester, quarterly. Yeah. So we
quarters,
have
quarters.
yeah
Okay.
quarters.
You have one more
So
quarter after this.
yeah, and I have a pretty like easygoing schedule for the spring. So I mean, most of my time will be spent on the job hunt. Hopefully by then I have something sealed, but you know, I don't assume I'll have anything sealed before the
Yeah, man.
first
I
week of
think after
April.
these finals are done, you have to like literally be a maniac. You should
Yeah.
be a maniac right now because if you get this offer from KPMG, I mean, you'd be a fool not to take it.
Yeah. Okay.
So just because you're so close to graduating, like it's going to pay you a really good salary and
hmm
get you some corporate experience, and you can still network. Do you know where it is? Is it in LA?
Yeah, it's in LA,
Okay, so
but
yeah, you're.
I'll
Go
be
ahead.
traveling like Monday through Thursday, and I'll be in the office Friday if
Okay, so it's
if
pure
I get that
consulting.
one.
It's pure
Yeah, it's
consulting.
pure consulting. Yeah, but like I said, hopefully if I get that, I'll leverage that at the two firms in LA that I'm interviewing with, and then see if they'll like
Yeah, maybe you'll like it. I mean, who knows?
yeah,
You'll like it.
yeah,
It'd be
maybe,
good for you to
maybe.
learn more, even on the super day, to learn more about like what exactly to do, like what are the
Mhm,
transfer, like what's the career look like there if you wanted to stay there, stuff like that.
mhm. Okay, yeah, that's definitely something I'll ask them.
Don't like just because I say something, doesn't necessarily mean I'm not all knowing. Plus, if the positive is if you start working as a consultant, you can start following all the consulting memes, which are pretty funny on Instagram.
I was like, this guy's not serious. This guy's not serious. That's funny. That's really funny. I already follow like the IB memes. Yeah,
You
maybe I can
gotta
start
start
following.
following the consulting ones, man. You may be in
It's-
consulting before you know
Yeah. Oh my
it.
That's good. That's good. Yeah,
Anyways.
yeah. A lot of my friends are doing consulting at Deloitte.
Yep.
Like I have a few buddies in my
Yeah, it's a good job. It's a good
in
company.
my fraternity that already got full-time offers there. So
Nice.
maybe I'll join the stockpile. But
Cool, man.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Cool,
I'm
man. All right.
excited.
Well, I'll let you run, but anything else I can be helpful with? Do you want me to look through that story thing again, or do you feel like you got it? You got your answers down. Do you want to do a mock or something next time we talk?
Yeah, I think a mock next time we talk will definitely be helpful. I mean,
Okay.
and when you're down here, I feel like meeting in person and doing that face-to-face interview would be super helpful because I feel like when you come, that'll be around that time we'll be brought in for a super day or two, hopefully two.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be super helpful. And then in terms of stories, yeah, I'll dig it up and I'll send it to you again. And I had a couple questions last time that I'll send again, and hopefully you can help me out with that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Did I miss getting back to you on certain questions?
I don't remember. It's been a month, but it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I mean, so what are you doing actually on the numbers in terms of networking? I mean, you slowed down this week because you have finals and stuff, but what were you doing?
Yeah. I was like at least 100 a day. I put in 2 hours like
You were
per
doing
day, like
100
you said.
outreach, like LinkedIn connection
100
requests?
hours?
No.
No, like
Sorry, no, connection requests. Connection requests.
yeah. So what I would do is like every day I would like go through a school. Like UCI I went through in a day.
Yeah.
UCSD, and that took me at least 2 hours, at least.
Yeah.
And UCSD, I went through a day. Once I got to UCSB, that took me 2 separate days to get through it. And
I
then,
love this. I love this.
yeah. So every day, like I would focus on a school and go through all the alumni and investment banking at that specific school. And
Okay.
that's how I would kind of pace myself.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be
What are
like,
you thinking about the next kind of groups to hit besides the UCs? What do you think that sounds like it's been really, really helpful?
yeah, it has. I would say Cal State's. I mean, the Cal State network is huge,
Yeah.
bigger than UC.
Okay.
So that'll be like my next target. After that, probably, I want to say, I don't know, like I want to say
USC?
like, yeah, I want to say USC and then like
Yeah.
other smaller private schools in the
Yeah.
area because we have a lot of private schools in the area
Yeah.
from, the Claremont McKenna schools.
Claremont McKenna has a strong little IB program, by the way. They
Yeah,
license our courses for their IB
that's
students.
That's pretty cool.
They're legit.
Actually, the girl that I told you that I had a great conversation with in New York, she was actually a Claremont McKenna MBA alum. And when I looked at the profiles of that bank, a lot of them came from Claremont McKenna.
Yeah,
so they were
have a little,
definitely feeding into that.
They have a small little IB program for like 40 kids there that does well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's awesome. Is it like a class or is it?
It's like a workshop of some sort where those like they get together and then they all well, I know the school licenses are courses for them so that they can go through that stuff and study together and stuff like that. And they might do a trip together as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's IB all the way. But yeah, I think honestly, yeah, don't stop doing what's working. I mean, you're putting in the hours to get those calls and those meetings.
Yeah, and it definitely worked.
But it's working.
It's worked. Yeah, and I just got to pick it up again because, I mean, I do feel like a little I don't even know what the word is, but I do feel like a little down when I don't have those like phone calls. Like today I had the interview. Tomorrow I have 3 phone calls, but the rest of the week I feel like, other than Friday, because like I'm going up for the Super Day. Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday is open, and the past 2 weeks, every day I at least had 2 or 3 at least. So I need to definitely pick it up. Yeah.
Well, the good news is as you keep going, you'll start actually stacking. So you could, and the stuff starts flowing in from like ones you reached out like weeks ago. You'll still start getting a trickle of people coming and responding to those.
Yeah.
And so you might you might start getting 4 or 5 a day. Sooner than you think if you keep it up. But yeah, I try to get back onto the 100 a day if you can, just because it's crunch time, like you said, and you're not getting March back. March 9th is almost over. You're not getting March 9th back. My point is like each day is like another day. Each day is another day closer to graduation, which is what day?
Right.
May?
June. Yeah, quarter systems in June. Yeah, June.
Late, man.
Yeah, I know it's late, but still, like a lot of these programs kick off in June or
July.
early July. Early July. Yeah. So I mean, they're not going to wait on me to graduate to give me a job. So, yeah, you're right. I got to pick it up for sure.
No, but yeah, keep it up because like it was working. You had a couple really good connections out of those blasts, and yeah, now and like you have the resume, man. You have the resume, so it's just making sure you're getting it into the right hands at the right time. So like you've hit a couple, and they're turning into opportunities. So just like just a couple more of those, even just for the reps.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can feel it. It's getting closer. I know I said it last time, but this time,
like a tidal wave.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
It's gonna crash. No, we shouldn't say crash. You're gonna triumph soon enough.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. So yeah, just keep that up. Let's just make it. It's just an odds game. It's just a numbers game.
You're right. It's exactly that, and that's what I've been telling like all the younger dudes in my fraternity and like the Investment Banking Association. It's just a numbers game. You just got to keep reaching out, and that's exactly what happened. Since our last call.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
The reminder definitely helps.
If you keep it up, yeah, we'll have a little celebration hopefully in a month instead of a mock interview.
Sounds good. That'd be awesome.
All right, man. We'll talk later. Let me know if I can help anything in the meantime. Okay.
Okay, we'll do. Definitely reach out. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
All right. Peace.
And thanks to you, my listeners at Wall Street Oasis. If you have any suggestions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to send them my way, Patrick at wallstreetoasis.com. Until next time.